Hey everybody, it's Joe from the JodoCast. Time for some hair in my mouth. Hey everybody, it's Joe from the JodoCast. Time for June gaming news. Before we get started, because there's actually a lot of gaming news this month. Before we kick things off, I want to remind you that the struggle against police injustice and systemic racism in this country is still ongoing. It hasn't stopped. It's still rolling, still happening. So that deserves your attention a whole lot more than this video does. Also, speaking as somebody who currently lives in Arizona, if you have to go out in public, wear a fucking mask. Okay? So, Star Wars gaming news. In June, a new video game was leaked, then it was announced, then we got a reveal trailer, then we got a gameplay trailer. Star Wars Squadrons. A lot of news about Star Wars Squadrons this month. It's kind of the big main news this month. I'm not going to break down all the details because we actually have a lot of details. There are a couple other videos on our channel already of Evan, Leo, and I discussing the two different trailers. There's a lot of info out there already, but let's break down what I think is the most important and exciting about the game. It's a first-person only starfighter game featuring 5v5 multiplayer combat and a single-player story campaign. I got a hunch it's not going to be super long, but it's still kind of exciting. It's coming out on October 2nd. It's only going to be $40. Worth noting is the ship lineup, which in the gameplay trailer was revealed to be X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, U-Wing, TIE Fighter, TIE Reaper, TIE Interceptor, and TIE Bomber. There will be more that they're not willing to share with us yet. Whether that's just one tiny segment of the campaign or more ships that you can rock in multiplayer remains to be seen, but you'll be able to get behind the joystick of more than just those ships. The game will have extensive ship customization, both visual and mechanical, so you can load up different modules in your ship that make it function differently. And the customization includes paint jobs for your ship and customizing your pilot's face, species, jumpsuit, flight suit, little trinkets in your cockpit like a Falcon keychain or an Ewok bobblehead, all sorts of cool stuff. Exciting. They added info on the characters and locations to the Squadrons website and the StarWars.com databank. So if you want to know where you're going to be flying, who you're going to be flying with in the campaign, all that info is up there. And again, links to all these sources will be in the description of this video. So Squadrons, huge news, but we've got to move on. Episode 1 Racer, released in 1999 on the Nintendo 64, came out I think in 2018 on Steam and Good Old Games, and just a few days ago, on June 23rd, it released on the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, which is awesome. Just because old games need love. More news about Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. New Lego sets were announced, and all of them are going to be featured in the game. Though some of them will have codes that you can put into the game to unlock the ships or vehicles or characters, which is, in my opinion, disheartening. For example, we're not sure which vehicles you have to get the code to play with, but for example, you could say, I would love to play as the Mandalorian. Oh, I can't unless I go buy that Lego set and put in the code. That seems to be the case with, we're not sure which characters or vehicles, but some characters and vehicles will be locked behind codes you have to get out of the physical Lego sets. And buying more Legos is a good idea, but Legos are expensive, like really expensive. So it seems really dirty for game content distribution. Tabletop news. In 2017, the game Unlock with an exclamation point debuted, and it's essentially an escape room in a box. Space Cowboys is the publisher, and they just announced there's a Star Wars version called Star Wars Escape Game. And immediately I go, well, it's not from Hasbro or Fantasy Flight Games, so this must be another one of those games that's not available in the United States. But it is. They confirmed that this release will be available in Europe and the United States, which is exciting, and I'm not sure what that means for the state of the weird Lucasfilm board game licensing agreements that seem to screw up a lot of things around here. Maybe there's hope for the future that more of these non-Hasbro Fantasy Flight games will be available here. But in any case, there's a new escape room in a box that's based around Star Wars, and it's going to be available in the United States. Padme and Cad Bane for Legion are available to pre-order anywhere you do that sort of thing. They each got a preview article up on the Fantasy Flight Games website that shows off all the funky things that they do in Legion, like Cad Bane has goofy tokens where he can spook you and blow you up and stuff. And so if you're excited about those, which you should be because they're cool and Legion's great, go check out those preview articles. Perhaps even more exciting than Squadrons, the biggest gaming news of June is that a new version of Bop It, you know, the game that has you stuff, there's a new Star Wars version. There have been Star Wars versions in the past. There's a new one based on The Mandalorian where it's just the child. So this game is just going to be you like snapping his neck and twisting his limbs, and just it's child abuse simulator, but Star Wars. So that's all the fun news. EA Star Wars, so the division of EA that works on Star Wars stuff, they've recently let go a piece of shit named Tyler Westhouse because it's come to light in a big way finally that he's manipulative and abusive and all that sort of stuff that you'd come to expect from 2020. Something similar happened with a artist that Fantasy Flight Games has worked with named Noah Bradley. They posted a article on their website that they're cutting ties with him, and any future reprints of games featuring his art will have his artwork replaced. It's not clear to me whether any of his artwork was featured in Star Wars games, but there's a good chance there is, so I thought it would be worth noting. That's all the Star Wars news for June. Hopefully you're staying safe and healthy as much as possible, and hopefully July has more exciting Star Wars news. And again, nothing I said here is particularly important in the grand scheme of things, and this video itself will be forgotten in maybe maybe a month, about a month. Historically speaking, none of this matters.